Hey, welcome back. Okay, here we are with finding sources and creating a works cited page. The academic database I was going to use for this is currently down, so I'm going to use a different one, and it doesn't have the articles that I used as sources in this rough draft. So we're just gonna we're gonna ad lib it. We're gonna improvise, and that's what you have to do, right? When you're sometimes when you're working on these things, life throws a weird screwball your way, and you got to deal with it. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get started. Okay, so here we are at EBSCOhost, which is an excellent academic database that I have used I don't know how many times. Real quick in these other tabs, I have a source beyond Trump's big beautiful wall. And this is another source. The family separation crisis reveals how far we are from a just immigration policy. And then lastly, there's a New York Times article, a president of the people or a president of his people. And then those are the three sources I used for this rough draft. And we'll talk in a minute about. I've already got the quotes from these, so I'm not going to bore you, and I'm not going to make you watch me read something because, again, that already happened in the big ugly 2 hour video that I did. This needs to be short and sweet. So what we will do though is we'll talk about how to cite these in a works cited page. But yeah, these are our sources that we're using, and then we'll get to the quotes in the next video. But how do you find a source? Okay, but the first, this is EBSCOhost, so we're going to use this, and the first thing I want to do is go to Advanced Search, and up here, the first thing I'm going to search for is Donald Trump. Look, there's Donald Trump, and then going to hit search. And you'll see there are 56,565 sources, which is more reading than anyone, myself included, will ever do. So let's try and narrow this down a little bit. Let's try border wall. There are ways to narrow this down. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to limit our search results to those sources where we have the full text available. If all you have is a snippet, then that's not useful to us. The other one, scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So let's click on that. And now that we've clicked on just those two things, you will see that we have 19 search results down from 56,000 or whatever that was. The other thing I usually do is you'll see the publication date range here. If you search for something really broad like abortion, that'll go back to the 50s or earlier. And you always want to make the publication date range the last 10 years. Because truthfully, I don't really give a shit what some guy in the 50s had to say about abortion. And no one in the 50s was obviously talking about Donald Trump, so I don't have to do that here. So now I've got 19 sources. Trump's wall at Nixon's border, the disgust of Donald Trump. Um, Overcoming being overwhelmed in the Trump era. I might actually read that later. Um, let's just go with Trump's wall at Nixon's border. I'm not really going to bother to read this, but I want to show you something real quick. Here's the source. Over here on the left, you can read the full text in HTML or the PDF. My personal recommendation is to always open up the PDF. And then the first thing you want to do, if it looks like it's something you're going to use, is save the PDF. You click on the download icon and save the PDF to your computer. I'm not going to, but save it to your computer so you have this. You know, if you get called away from the work and you go back online and you can't find the source again, that's a huge drag. So don't do that. Anyway, here we go. Trump's wall at Nixon's border. If I wanted to see whether or not this was going to be something I could use, the first thing I would do is read the abstract, which is right here. And the abstract, this article examines the 1969 anti-drug measure, Operation Intercept, blah, 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 blah. Topics include the conflict and resistance caused by intercept among the residents of El Paso, Texas and Juarez, Mexico. Da 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 da. That might be a source that I could use. Let's pretend it is, though. Over here to the right, there are several links, and one of them you will note is a site. So click on that, and then scroll down here to MLA. This is a freshman composition class, so you are going to be using MLA format for your essay, and we'll talk about that more in the next video too. So just highlight that and then copy it. And then I just want to show you, let's actually go over here to the outline that we've been working on. I'm going to, okay, I'm going to hit Control Enter, and that's going to drop us down to a brand new page. So no matter how much we type, this page will always start right here at the top. So I'm going to start Works Cited. That's all you need for the Works Cited page, and then I'm literally going to paste that in there. Now, this is not the correct format. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to right click on it, and I am going to click on Paragraph, and I am going to go up here to Special, and I'm going to change the indent to hanging. It defaults at 1/2 inch, which is correct, and then I'm going to hit OK. Now this should be double spaced, but we will deal with all the formatting crap in the next video as well. You will see here that the Works Cited page, this should be centered. You will see here that we now have a hanging indent. And the reason this is a good thing is because, let me undo it real quick, actually. This is what it did look like. Let's drop down again and paste another one. Try that again. Paste another one. When this is formatted correctly, let's just do it right now. Right click, hit paragraph, double spacing. I always put a check mark here where it says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Okay. Now that gets a little difficult to read, and you can see really that there are two different sources there, but believe me, when you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sources listed, depending on the assignment, it does get difficult to determine where these sources end. And it's pretty frustrating, especially if you're grading 1,000 papers. So let's just change it to the hanging indent, and now you can see that hanging indent is how we see that you've started a new source. Every first line is all the way to the far left. That's a new source. Once again, though, I am going to undo all this, and I am going to center the Works Cited title, and then I'm going to right-click on the text. I'm going to highlight all the text, right-click, hit paragraph, and hanging indent, and there we go. And then I'm going to drop down. Now, we're not actually using this source because I've already got, again, the sources that I've used. So I had to show you how to do that on this page because this database is currently down, even though it looks identical. And I can't use the citation tool here, and it's just not working. That's okay. I am going to copy and paste this source. Both of these sources, actually. And I'm going to try and take the formatting out of these by pasting them into Notepad. And okay, back over here. Okay, the formatting, it kept the single space formatting, but you'll see that there is still a hanging indent. So every line after the first line is indented 1/2 inch to the right, which is exactly what I want. And it's, let's just get rid of that source since we're not actually using it. And then the last thing we need to do is get our New York Times source, and that I can actually show you. Uh, Personally, I'm still a big fan of just manually entering the sources into your works cited page, and you determine what that format is based on what it says at the Purdue OWL. I talk about that in the really long video. I'm not going to talk about it here. Um, Most students, I realize, use citation tools such as EasyBib. That's what we're going to do. This is a New York Times article. So we're going to take the URL right out of the address bar, and we're going to go over here to EasyBib, and we're going to paste that thing in, and we're going to hit cite. Okay, President, okay, and then let's hit cite again. Okay, let's hit continue. This is one of the reasons that I don't use these tools. They bother me. Complete citation, for the love of God. Okay, so here's a citation. My citation, and take that and copy the in-text. No, I don't want to copy the in-text citation. I want to copy. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I'm gonna copy the thing. All right, now let's put it in down here. Okay, looks like it copied. It kept the hanging indent, which is great. The title of the publication is italicized. This is all looking good. The only thing wrong with this is your works cited entries have to be alphabetical. So Baker obviously comes before Miller. I'm going to drop Miller down, and I'm going to paste Baker in above him. There's that extra space. We'll just get rid of that. And here, yeah, there we go. Uh, we'll worry about the spacing and the formatting and all of that in the next video. Right now, this is a works cited page that we can use. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit. I think I've talked enough about how to find the sources. If you want to see slightly more in depth, feel free to go to the long video and just fast forward until you get to that part. But this should be good information that you can use. All right, let's end it here, and we'll wrap this all up in the next video.